Hi, it's Miss Johnson here. So today we're going to be looking at subtracting integers. This video is designed for children who have already learned how to subtract integers, but you've kind of forgotten a little bit, so you just need a review. Okay? All right, so subtracting integers a lot of times is thought about on a number line. So I went ahead and put that number line up there. So go ahead and write you a little number line as well. Okay, so I want us to look first at -2 minus 3 and positive 2 minus 3. Both situations, we are getting less positive by 3. Less positive by 3. We're just starting in a different place. Okay, so like if we start here and we go to -2, and I'm going to subtract 3. Well, if I subtract 3, I'm going to the left, right? So I'm at -2, and then I subtract 3. So I go to the left 3, 1, 2, 3, and I end up at -5. So when you're subtracting, you're getting less positive, or less of whatever it is you're doing, right? You're getting less. So let's just draw a little thing here, and we're going to say less, and then this is positive, so we're getting less positive, so we're going to the left. It doesn't matter where you start on your number line, that will be the same, right? So if I had started at +2 instead of -2, and I want to get, again, what do we say? Less positive, that means I'm going to go to the left. So if I go to 2, then I want to get less positive by 3, then I'm going to go back 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to end up at -1. Okay, so that subtraction sign works just like a negative. It works just like a negative. We're going backwards to the left. So we're going to the negative side. I'll look like an L, sorry. Right? Okay, so let's just kind of draw us a little number line here so we can have this written. So if we start at -2, right? We go back to -2. And then we want to get less positive by 3. So we're going to go back 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And remember, wherever you end up at is your answer. So that gives us -5. And it would be the same thing with this one. Right? We start at the -2, the +2. But then we want to get less positive by 3. So that means we have to go back 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we end up at the -1. Now, I want to encourage you to begin to think of your subtraction sign as a negative. Let me say that again. I want to encourage you to begin to think of your subtraction sign as a negative. If you can begin to see that subtraction as a negative, look what happens. If I just take this and I cover up this -2 like that, you can see that looks like a -3, right? And if you can begin to think of this as 2 negatives and 3 negatives put together, 2 negatives and 3 negatives put together, then you just think like you follow the add rules, kind of, right? And you put it together. Like this one would be 2 positives and 3 negatives, and that would give us -1. If you can begin to think that way, that is going to help you greatly as you move on in your math, because, well, just trust me, okay? Because it's going to get a lot more, you're going to have a lot more simplifying and things that you have to do where you need to think of that subtraction sign as a negative, okay? So let's write that. So begin to think of the subtraction sign as a negative. and you're kind of doing it in your head. So a lot of teachers teach children subtraction this way. They teach them to keep the first number, change the subtraction sign to addition, and then take the opposite of the second number. So you end up with 2 negatives and 3 negatives. Miss Johnson did not put the right answer for that one. Sorry, guys. Which would give us 5 negatives, right? Will give us 5 negatives, which is what we got up here. Okay. And if you think about it, if we're getting less positive, think about it on our number line, right? So if we're here, if we're at -2 and I want to get less positive, that means I need to get more negative. So I'm getting more negative, I have to go to the left to get more negative. So if I'm getting less positive, that means I'm getting more negative. Okay, let's just put that little note that right there. That means I'm getting more negative, which is, when you look here, right? When you look here, right, we're at -2 and we're going to -5. That means we got more negative by 3. Okay? But I really want you to start seeing that. And one way that helps you do that is if you circle your numbers. You see that as -2, you see that as -3, and that gives you the -5. Okay? 2 negatives and 3 negatives is -5. Okay? All right. So let's look at what happens when we don't have. Let's look and see what happens when we're trying to subtract a negative. All right. So let's look at -1 minus -4. And then we'll also look at a +1 minus a -4. Okay. So the minus still means less. So we want to get less negative. Well, if you want to get less negative, if you want to get less negative, here, choose this. So if I'm here and I want to get less negative, that means I need to go this way, right? If I'm here and I want to get less negative, I'm still going to the right. Okay, so if I want to get less negative by 1, that means I'm going to go to the right one. If I'm over here and I want to get less negative by 1, I'm still going to go to the right. So if you're getting less negative, you're really getting more positive, right? So we're getting less negative. That means we're getting more positive. Okay, so we're at -1. And I want to get less negative by 4. So if I want to get less negative by 4, that means I need to go to the right 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that line's a +4. This line's a -1. That line is a +4, right? Because we're going to the right. So this -1 minus -4, really it becomes, when we're thinking about this as less negative by, right? It's becoming less negative, that it's really becoming more positive. And we're switching this to, oops, let me put my little 1 there. We're switching that to a plus sign. So less negative becomes more positive. And we could even put a little plus sign right here too if we wanted. It's becoming more positive by 4. I've even seen some teachers teach this where they just take this and they just say, make it a plus sign like that. Okay, and then you're thinking, okay, I have 1 negative, I have 4 positives. So that negative is going to come over, get one of those positives. They're going to take it away, and we're going to be left with 3. So the procedure would be the same no matter if you start at the negatives or you start at the positives, okay? So if I started, I think I'm going to do it down here. If I started at 1 and I want to get less negative by 4, I'm still going 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm still going to the right. So I'm here, right? This is +1. I want to get less negative. So I want to get less negative. I want to get more positive by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 plus 4 is, remember where you end up is your answer, 5. Okay, so again, that less negative by 4 means I want to get more positive by 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So this was just a quick review of how to subtract integers. If you're still not sure how to do it, or you're unsure, I suggest you go watch some other videos or rewatch this video again. But practice is key. Practicing. So there's lots of places you can go practice on the internet. Just type in subtracting integers and go find some places where you can just practice, and they can give you the answers. But the key to being successful with mathematics is practicing until you get it. Okay, so let's practice, practice, practice.